You've heard the saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That is the single most important lesson when it comes to learning to build a commander deck. See, any of us can go online, find a powerful deck list, and just copy it, card for card. Spend all your money on a deck list. You'll have no idea whether it works or not. That's being handed a fish. It might get you through the game, but you won't understand why the deck works, how to adapt when your plan gets disrupted, or how to even build another deck on your own. Worse, you could spend hard-earned money on someone else's idea of fun. And when it comes to you piloting the deck, it's just not your thing. You're left with an expensive pile of cards that doesn't really feel like yours. And you haven't learned anything, which means you're not going to get any better. So we are going to work on ways to build your own commander deck so you're not getting frustrated with the game and quitting. We want you to have fun and for the deck to feel like yours. So that all stops. I'm going to show you the ultimate beginner's guide to deck building. We are going to make a powerful, budget-friendly, and most importantly, fun commander deck. We're going to make sure every single card has a job. This isn't about copy-pasting a list you found online. This is about giving you the secret recipe that I use that helped me look smart, confident, and like I can build more than one deck without wasting all my money. I waste a bit of my money, but not all of it, all right? I like buying cards. And if you're like me and you open booster pack after booster pack and you participate in drafts and whatnot, you end up with a stack of cards. And you're like, I should use these cards for something. And building decks is a fun way to use all those cards. So first thing you're going to do is pick a leader for your 99 card army. Your commander. So your commander deck should have 100 cards in it. No cards can be the same. So we're going to pick one card that we love most that we're going to make our commander. Commander is a legendary creature that chills in a special area called the command zone. You can cast them from there, and if they get taken out, you can pop them back into the command zone to cast again. Though it costs an extra 2 mana each time. This card is the heart and soul of your deck. It picks your colors, it sets your strategy, and honestly, it should be a card that you really think is cool or cute or fun or whimsy or a representation of yourself or something that just looks like your pet dog. I don't care. Whatever you think is super cool, that should be the commander. Please, and I mean please, don't pick a commander because someone on the internet told you it was S tier. I have fallen for this mistake and then I have not enjoyed the deck I've built or the deck I've purchased, and it leads to heartbreak. So please don't do that. Pick something you want to play. The whole point is to build a deck you will have a blast playing for hours. I want this deck to be something you're going to play more than once. Your commander is the one card you're guaranteed to see every single game. So if you want to spend some extra money on making a card pretty for your deck, that's the card I'd be looking at making pretty. Find alternate art. Pay to get an artist to alter it or alter it yourself as a fun little art project. That's the showcase of your deck. Think about what you enjoy in games. Do you love turning creatures sideways and attacking with a giant army? A commander like Krenko Mob Boss, who makes a ton of goblin tokens, could be perfect for you. Maybe you're into like spell slingers and you want to control the board with like sneaky plays. Maybe you're after like a Jace or an Otter or a Kefka Court Mage. Or maybe you want to play cards from your graveyard and do a Mardu deck. Maybe you need Celeste or Terra. These might be your styles, and what you need to do is dig deep, find a playstyle that you like, some colors that you enjoy, and try and pick a commander that suits those. So maybe borrowing decks and things while you're a beginner, figure out what colors you like and what styles you like to play is a good place to start. So when picking your commander, a great place to start looking is right in your own collection. Flip through your brag binder, the one with your favorite flashy cards, or have a look online. A cool place for online window shopping is a website called EDH Rec. It's a huge database and it shows you popular commanders and all the cards people love to play with them and some synergies. It's a good place to start. You can filter by colors or themes, so you could do themes like tokens or artifacts or even just by budget. so you know you're not spending too much. Use it to look at the art, read the abilities, and find a few legendaries that just make you smile. For your first deck, I really recommend picking a commander with a clear, straightforward game plan. A commander that costs between 2 and 4 mana, that's your sweet spot, because you can get them onto the battlefield early and do your thing. Try to avoid the ones with super long, complicated abilities, or those that need perfect setup or specific, often pricey cards to just get the win con to work. Win con is a win condition, so how you win the game. You want a leader that helps the theme, not one that's useless on its own. The goal is to find a commander you're genuinely excited about, costs 2 to 4 mana, hopefully it's a legendary creature that you already own, or is cheap to buy online. That's the fuel for your process. All right, commander chose it. Good job. Proud of you. Now, this is the part where most people start to get lost and start lighting money on fire and filling out the other 99 slots with useless cards. It's so easy to just find a few cool looking cards, crack a bunch of random booster packs, and just mash it all together. That's the fast track way to creating a dreaded pile of cards that you never touch again. Before you even think about buying new cards, look at what you already own. Use the cards you have. Is there another deck you build that just never clicked? Is there a box of cards somewhere collecting dust? Is there a pre-con that you just didn't love? There is nothing wrong with pulling apart a deck you never use and salvaging the good cards. Using the cards you have is the best budget-friendly trick in the book. It seems obvious, but so many people are, I guess, wary of pulling apart decks. I say go for it. You can always look up the deck list later and put it back together if you want to try it out again. But pull it apart. If you're not using it, let's make the most of it. So we're not going to mash cards together. Going to use a simple blueprint. Think of it like building a house. You don't just show up and start tossing bricks in the field, right? You lay a foundation. You put up a frame and then you fill in the rest. Our deck is no different. We need a solid structure to make sure it runs smoothly every time. Best way to do this is with a package system. A popular version is the 8x8 theory. We're just going to call it the package method. The idea is simple. Break down your deck into small groups of about 8 to 10 cards, where each group has a specific job. This guarantees you have a healthy mix of everything a good commander deck needs.
So, what are the jobs that we're assigning for these cards?
Great question. Every single commander deck needs these 3 things. Ramp, card draw, and interaction. Ramp. These are cards that get you more mana faster. They let you cast big, flashy spells way ahead of schedule. Card draw. These cards fill up your hand so you don't run out of things to cast. Pretty self-explanatory. Interaction. These are answers to what your opponents are doing. This is how you blow up their stuff and protect your own. You can also have interaction within your own deck, which if you have too much of that, some people will feel like you're playing solitaire, and anyway, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. For our 100 card deck, a great starting point is to set aside 10 to 12 slots for ramp, 10 to 12 slots for card draw, and another 10 to 15 slots for interaction. These 30 to 40 cards are the non-negotiable engine for your deck. They're the foundation and the frame of our house. They might not always be the splashiest cards. They're what will make your deck feel consistent and powerful. I don't know why I keep using houses and cars for my analogy. I know nothing about either of those things, but here we are. I don't know, but yeah, it's the heart and soul of your deck versus all the other stuff. By dedicating spots to them first, you guarantee that your deck will work. So it's like making sure you have your staples in your meal before you go and get your snacks. So you like your dessert. This is your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right, let's start building that engine. First up, ramp. In Commander, you've got 3 opponents, not just one. The games go longer and everyone is trying to do something huge first. If you're just playing 1 land each turn, you're going to get left in the dust. Ramp is how you cheat the system. It's how you go from playing a 3 mana spell on turn 3 to a 6 mana spell on turn 4. It's essential. Aim for at least 10 ramp spells. And don't be shy about bumping that up to 12 or 14 if your deck has a lot of expensive spells, or if you need to get some fetch lands, or maybe you're building a landfall kind of deck. So there's a few things where you might need a bit more ramp. There's some different flavors of ramp, and you want a little mix of everything. Your most famous ramp card that is in nearly every commander deck is a Soul Ring. Just put it in the deck. If you're unsure, just grab one, put it in the deck. It'll be good, trust me. It's a really good start for that ramp-based section of cards. Beyond that, you can get like your 2-mana signets, like a Boros signet, Izzet signet. You can grab an Arcane signet. Things like that are fantastic. So like your mana rocks will do fantastic there. Next is land-based ramp, which is mostly a green thing. These are spells like Fast Seek, Rampant Growth that let you search a library for a land and put it right onto the battlefield. This is amazing because lands are much harder for your opponents to destroy than artifacts. If you're in green, you should be playing a bunch of these. Please just do it. And last but certainly not least are your mana dorks. These are 1 or 2 mana creatures like the classic Llanowar elves, where you tap them for mana. They're great for super fast start, but fair warning, they're squishy. 1 removal spell for an opponent and your ramp is gone. On a budget, your goal is to fill your ramp spots with as many 2 mana options as you can, but don't underestimate a 3-cost mana rock. I quite like a few of them. Things like Patchwork Banner, Waterbender's Skin, the list goes on. Next up, card draw. If ramp is like your gas pedal, make you go fast, card draw is your fuel tank. So you're playing a 99 card library and you only start with 7 cards. Without ways to draw more, you'll play out of your hand and be stuck with nothing to do. Then you'll be run out of gas, aka top decking, which means grabbing the top card of your deck and being left with no choices but to play that card. So that's a surefire way to lose. You need at least 10 reliable ways to draw a card. Just like ramp, card draw comes in different styles. You've got one-shot effects like a spell that just says draw 3 cards. These are great for a quick refill. More importantly, you want repeatable draw engines. These are usually permanents, creatures, enchantments, or artifacts that draw you extra cards over time. It could be that you're playing like a Jeskai spell slinging deck and it's every time you cast your second spell, draw a card. You could be playing Miss Bumbleflower, where you get to draw a card as part of your commander's built-in thing. There's so much you can do for drawing cards and it's fantastic. But this is where you can really lean into your deck's theme. You can, if you're building a Krenko Goblin deck, a card like Skullclamp becomes an insane draw engine, letting you turn a tiny goblin into 2 new cards. You can look for synergistic pieces. What makes the deck feel special? If you're building on a budget, always look for cards that do 2 things at once. A creature that ramps and also draws a card, A+. By locking in at least 10 ramp and 10 draw spells, you've built a foundation that lets you actually play Magic every game, instead of just watching. Alright, so we've picked our commander and built the engine with ramp and card draw. If this blueprint is already making sense and getting you excited, do me a favor, please like and subscribe to my channel. I really need the help in growing my channel. We're still early days. We're about to get to the really fun part, which is making the deck uniquely yours, and you won't want to miss it. This framework is all about saving you money and making the game more fun. And that's what we're all about here. Your engine is humming, your deck can make mana and draw cards. It works! But Commander isn't a single player game. You've got 3 opponents and they're all trying to win as well. They're going to play giant monsters, powerful artifacts, enchantments that can win the game on the spot. If you can't deal with their stuff, your perfect little engine won't matter. You'll just get run over or stopped. This is where your interaction comes in. This is your toolkit for disrupting your opponents and protecting yourself. We can break it into 2 types: single target removal and board wipes. Single target removal is your scalpel. It's a pimple patch. It's for cleanly and efficiently answering one specific problem. That huge dragon threatening to eat your face, Swords to Plowshares. That annoying artifact locking you out of the game, Nature's Claim. You need 8 to 10 of these surgical spells. The secret to a great removal package is versatility. A card that says destroy target creature is good. But a card that says destroy target non-land permanent is better. Cards like Beast Within, Chaos Warp, or Generous Gift, gold in Commander, because they can handle any kind of threat. Having these flexible answers means you're ready for anything. On a budget, there are tons of fantastic cheap removal spells that cost less than a cup of coffee. Now, sometimes the board is out of control. Sometimes a little scalpel just isn't enough, and you need a board wipe. A board wipe is like pouring a bucket of bleach over a stage. Board wipes are your big red panic button. They're mass removal spells that destroy all creatures, all artifacts, or just everything that's a non-land permanent. Or, I don't know. I don't think there's anything that destroys absolutely everything off the board. I normally play around a bracket 2 or 3, and this guide is for a bracket 2 or 3, so we won't be talking about that. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So, because they hit you too, you have to be smart about when you play them. But in a format with 3 other players, they are 100% necessary. You don't need 10 of these, that's way too many. A healthy number is somewhere between 3 and 5. Anything more than that, and your people that you're going to be playing with aren't going to want to play that deck against with you ever again. So don't put in more than 5 unless you want to be playing Magic for like 8 hours because the game never ends because you keep resetting the board. Anyway, this is enough to see one when you really need it, but not so many that they clog up your hand. Every color has some way to do this, so you can find ones that fit your deck on a budget. With a good mix of targeted removal and board wipes, your deck is no longer just sitting there. It's an active player in the game, fighting back and controlling the flow. So, we have our commander, about 35 to 40 utility cards for our engine and interaction, and we'll have about 38 lands. That leaves us with about 25 to 30 empty slots. This is the sweet spot. This is where the magic happens and the deck truly becomes yours. Synergy. Synergy is what makes a deck feel like more than just a pile of cards. It's the secret sauce. It's the thing that makes it all click. It's the paint job. It's the personality. It's the flavor. Think of these as your theme packages. You'll probably have 3 or 4 packages of about 8 cards that are focused on your theme. So let's go back to our Krenko mob boss example, who wants to make a gazillion goblins. So our theme packages might be more goblins. So we want cards that are like Goblin Chieftain that gives all your other goblins a boost and haste, making your army instantly threatening. Token payoffs. There are cards that reward you for having tons of creatures. A budget gem like Impact Tremors, pinging each opponent for 1 damage every time one of your creatures enters the battlefield. With Krenko, that adds up incredibly fast. Or the finishes. This would be the package that has the cards that actually win you the game. Once you have 50 goblins, you need a way to seal the deal. Something like an overrun effect that gives you a whole team of huge power-ups for one big game-winning attack is perfect. No matter your commander, the logic is the same. Building around a spell slinger, your packages will be cheap spells and creatures that reward you for casting them. Building a graveyard deck, you need to fill your graveyard, but then have ways to bring things back from the graveyard. This is also where you figure out your win conditions. So your win con, aka win conditions, is how does this deck actually win against 3 people? A deck without a plan to win is just a deck that's hoping not to lose. It's good to have a plan A, plan B, and maybe a plan C. Plan A is your primary win condition, your main goal. For Krenko, it's making a huge army of goblins and attacking everyone. Plan B, which is your backup plan, is if someone stops you from attacking, what do you do? For Krenko, that could be winning with damage from Impact Tremors or shock abilities. Plan C, this is your break glass in case of fire option. Maybe it's 1 big burn spell or a sneaky combo of 2 or 3 cards that can steal a win when all else fails. Maybe it's board wipe everyone but you. I don't know. By having multiple ways to win, your deck becomes way more resilient. If an opponent shuts down your main plan, you can just pivot to your backup. This kind of planning is what makes a deck not just fun, but genuinely good. Okay, so we've picked all our spells, the final, and okay, maybe the most technical step is the mana base. This is the step I struggle with the most, if I'm completely honest with you all. I still have a hard time with this, and it's one of the things that when I get to the fine-tuning part of deck building, that I do go back and fix the most. So if you have better ways of doing this, please let me know. But this is how I do it. Your mana base is all your lands. Golden rule is to start with about 38 lands. If your deck is super cheap to cast, then maybe go down to like 36. But if it's full of expensive like dragons or slivers or something, maybe ramp it up to 39, 40. But 37, 38 is a great starting point. It's not just about the number of lands though, it's about having the right colors. The easiest way to figure this out is to use a free online deck building site like Architect or Boxfield, where you put 60-something spells in. The site will show you a breakdown of your mana pips. All the little coloured symbols in your card's cost. If 43% of your pips are red, then about 43 of your lands should be able to make red mana. Following that ratio will make sure you can cast spells on time. On a budget, you probably won't be buying those fancy, expensive dual lands. That's totally fine. You'll be using a mix of basic lands and budget-friendly jewels. These include tap lands, plain lands, and a lot other cheap cycles that get the job done. Sorry, not plain lands, pain lands. These include tap lands, pain lands, and lots of other cheap cycles that get the job done. Also, don't forget to toss in a few utility lands. These are lands with special abilities like drawing a card or making a creature, or even tapping to make a creature. Unblockable. Very handy. Love a Rogue's Passage. They give you a bit of extra power. Finally, let's touch on the mana curve. Mana curve is a fancy way of talking about how many cheap spells versus expensive spells you have. You want this to look kind of like a gentle slope. Lots of cheap 2 and 3 mana spells, and then fewer and fewer as you get to the big expensive stuff. So kind of like a downhill skier kind of thing. Why does this matter? It means you have something to play every turn. If your deck is full of nothing but giant 7 mana spells, you're going to sit there doing nothing for 5 turns while everyone else runs you over. A smooth curve means you can play something on turn 2, something on turn 3, and keep building your board until you can unleash your big finishes. Those online deck builders will even make a little graph for you so you can see if your curve looks healthy. Your deck is built! Finally! All 100 cards are in a place, each with a purpose. But the journey is not quite over. I know, we're almost there. The final step is testing and tuning. A process that really never ends, if I'm honest. Before you even go to game night, you should goldfish your deck. That just means playing it by yourself. So shuffle up, draw an opening hand, and play out the first 5 or 10 turns. Like you're in a real game against yourself. Ask yourself, did I get the colours I needed? Could I cast my ramp spells early? Could I have played my commander on curve? Do this a few times, you'll quickly spot any glaring problems, like having way too many expensive cards stuck in your hand. After that, it's time for the real test, playing against actual people. This is where you get the best feedback. Pay attention to which cards feel amazing when you draw them and which ones feel like a total dud. Which cards sat in your hand all game because you never had the mana to cast them, and when did you feel helpless, and what kind of card would have been perfect in that moment. Take little notes, maybe you realize you need more ways to gain life or more answers for flying creatures. I am chronically bad at forgetting to put enough reach and flying in my decks. This is where the fun of upgrading comes in. Your deck is a living, breathing creature. It needs to evolve. As you play, you'll find its weakest links. You can then swap those cards out for other budget-friendly options that solve the problems you've run into. That's the real secret. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. You just need to be a smart player who's willing to take the time to tune your list based on how it actually plays. You did it! That's it! That's the blueprint! That's how you build a fun, effective, and synergistic commander deck from the ground up without wasting any money. Okay, quick recap. First, pick a commander that you think is awesome. Not what someone on the internet told you is awesome, what you think is awesome. I will tell you what commander decks I think are awesome, and you're welcome to take my advice or not, but you need to also find it awesome. Second, use a structured blueprint dedicating slots for your engine, ramp, card draw, interaction. Third, you fill out the deck with fun synergy packages that support your commander. Your spice, your flavor, your color. Fourth, you make sure you have a plan A, plan B, and plan C to actually win the game. Fifth, you build a balanced mana base and a smooth curve. Curve this way. So the deck runs like a dream. And finally, you test, you tune, and you make small upgrades over time. Following this process guarantees that every card in your deck has a job. No wasted slots, no random piles of cardboard. You have a smart, resilient, and fun machine that you built yourself. You'll know exactly how it works and why every piece is there. And you'll have built it on a budget you're happy with. Now, you can walk into your local game store with the confidence that you're not just playing some deck. You're piloting your deck. I really hope this guide has made you excited and empowered to start building. It's one of the most creative and rewarding parts of playing Magic. Now, I want to hear from you. What commander are you going to build using this blueprint? Send me the deck list, put it in the comments. I want to read about it. I want to hear about it. I want to know what cool ideas you've come up with. And of course, if you found this guide helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the little notification bell so you don't miss out on our next adventure. Thank you so much for spending the time watching this with me. I'm Honey Ducky. I'm out of mana. Passing for turn.